Hey there, folks. Welcome back to my channel. It's so great to see you all again. Today, I've got a tickling story to share with you that happens to me and my wife during a camping trip in New Mexico. You won't believe what we encountered there. But before we dive into it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss a story from me. Alright, let's get started. So picture this, a serene remote lake in the heart of New Mexico, surrounded by lush forests and the soothing sound of nature. It was the perfect backdrop for a family camping trip. My husband and I were joined by his family, about 10 of us in total, and there was another group of 6 people camping in the next sit over. The day was beautiful, filled with hiking, swimming, and all the outdoor activities you'd expected on a camping trip. But little did we know, the night was going to take a truly bizarre turn. As night fell, both groups gathered around the campfire, roasting marshmallow, enjoying a few drinks, and sharing stories. It was your typical camping experience, until something utterly unexpected happened. We all heard it, clear as a day, a faint cry for help that sounded like a little girl's voice. Now, here is the kicker. There were no children with either group, but the urgency in that voice left us all with chills running down our spines. We couldn't just ignore it. The night was dark, and the forest was thick, but the cries for help were persistent. With a mix of fear and curiosity, both groups decided to band together and investigate. We grabbed our flashlights and cautiously made our way toward the direction of the cries. As we reached a field behind our campsite, our flashlights revealed something that we could never have anticipated. There, standing approximately 100 feet away from us, was a tall, slender figure. A figure that was pure white, almost ghostly. It was easy around 6 feet tall, with an otherworldly appearance that sent shivers down our spines. We couldn't believe our eyes. The strange entity seemed to be making those cries for help. But as we approached it, it started to back away, retreating deeper into the dark forest until it vanished among the trees. It was as if it didn't want us to get any closer. Our hearts were racing, and our minds were racing even faster. We returned to our campsite, but the night was far from over. Through the night, we continued to hear that eerie little girl's voice, still pleading for help, making it almost impossible to get any rest. So there you have it, folks, the spine-tingling encounter that my husband's family and I had during a camper trip in New Mexico. To this day, we're left with more questions than answers. What was that strange white figure, and why did it mimic the voice of a little girl? It remains a mystery that continues to haunt us. If you ever experience anything like this or have any insights into what we might have encountered, please share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Thanks for joining me on this spooky adventure, and I'll catch you in the next video. Until then, stay curious and stay safe. Goodbye. Good evening, dear viewers. Tonight, I have a tale that will send shivers down your spine. A story of a haunted house that has stood abandoned for decades. Gather round and prepare to be captivated by the eerie tale of the haunting of Hollow House. In a small, quiet town nestled deep within the wood, there lies an old mansion known as Hollow House. Once a grand and stately residence, it now stands as a shadow of it. Legend has it that Hollow House was built on cursed land, where unspeakable horrors took place centuries ago. The very ground it stands on is said to be tainted with the restless spirit of those who met gruesome ends. Now, dear listeners, imagine yourself walking through the creaking front door of a hollow house. The air is thick with the scent of decay, and the darkness seems to envelop you as you step inside. As you explore the dimly lit hallway, you can hear faint whispers echoing through the empty room. Shivers run down your spine as unseen hand seems to brush against your skin. But the true terror of Hollow House lies in the basement, a place so dark and sinister that even the bravest soul would tremble at the thought of descending those rickety stairs. It is said that the vengeful spirit of the house's former owner, a malevolent man who dabbled in the darkest of occult practices, now resides in the basement, and he does not take kindly to intruders. As you make your way down those steps, your heart pounds in your chest. The air grows colder, and the feeling of being watched becomes nearly unbearable. Suddenly, you hear it, the chilling laughter of the malevolent spirit echoing through the darkness. You turn to flee, but the stairs seems to stretch endlessly before you. As you struggle to escape the clutches of the basement, the laughter grows louder and the shadows close in. Panic sets in, and you realize that you may never leave Hollow House. And there, my dear viewers, we shall leave our tale of the haunting of Hollow House. Whether it is a mere legend or a terrifying reality, one thing is certain: Hollow House remains a place of dread, forever etched in the annal of horror. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. This is just a start. We're gonna have fun, and we're gonna have a lot of horror stories. See you in the next video. Hey there, lovely viewers. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing great. Today, I've got a story that I've been itching to share with you, and it's a truly bizarre one. So make sure you're comfortable, grab your favorite snack, and let's dive right into it. Picture this. I'm a psychiatric nurse, fresh in my career, and I found myself working at a residential mental health facility. Little did I know, I'd be part of an enigma that would haunt me for years. One of our residents, a man who had once been quite ordinary but stood nearly 7 feet tall, was an elective mute. Now, an elective mute is someone who chooses not to speak. But here is the kicker. There was no medical explanation for it. The resident has spoken early in his life, and apart from his towering height, he seemed perfectly normal back then. He hailed from the deep south and had joined the military at 19. But one fateful night, he vanished without a trace. He was declared AWOL, and eventually he was declared missing and presumed dead. Fast forward 10 long years, a 7-foot tall man covered in dust, wearing the same clothes he had on the night he vanished, walked into a VA hospital emergency room in my part of the Midwest. His first word sent shivers down everyone's spine. My name is Marion Duchesne, is not the real name, and I've been dead for 10 years. Those were the last words he ever spoke. Marion was a puzzle wrapped in enigma. He placed all day, every day, moving his mouth as if talking or muttering, but no sound ever escaped his lips. His unnerving habit of throwing his head back, mimicking laughter without making a sound, added to the eerie aura around him. Whenever I tried talking to him, He'd appear to listen, occasionally throwing his head back in that peculiar laughter mimicking way. We tried various medication, but they had no effect, neither positive nor negative. Occupational therapy was a dead end, as Marion simply grinned and resumed his unconscious pacing. It was as if he were stuck in a loop of silence and strange gestures. On my last day at that job, as I walked away, the last image burned into my memory was Marion passing into the parking lot, his silent laughter echoing in my mind to this day. I wonder if I had been dealing with a ghost all along. The mystery of Marion Duchesne still haunts me, and I'm left with more questions than answers. What do you think, folks? Have you ever encountered something as baffling as this in your life? Share your thoughts and experience in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friend. Until next time, stay curious and stay open to life mysteries. Goodbye. Hey there, amazing people. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing fantastic. Today, I've got a spine-tingling story to share with you. A chilling experience with my friends and I had while driving through a massive graveyard. You won't believe what happened that night. So grab a comfy seat and join me on this eerie journey. Picture this. It was a dark, moonless night, and my friend and I were cruising through the winding path of a massive graveyard in my friend's old car. The atmosphere was heavy, with an unsettling silence as we navigate through the rows of tombstones. We decided to stop and explore, walking down a hill until we come across a serene little pond. But our sense of tranquility was short-lived. On the other side of the pond, there was someone sitting on a rock. The figure was shrouded in darkness, and we couldn't make out any features except from what appears to be an old side top hat. Against our better judgment, we waved and cheerfully shouted hi. What happened next defied all reason and logic. The figure on the rock didn't acknowledge us in the slightest, but suddenly, without warning, he jumped to his feet and began running toward us. But here is the eerie part. He was running on the water, defying all laws of nature. Just as he got about halfway across the pond, he vanished into thin air. Panic set in as my friend and I screamed and sprinted back to the car. We desperately tried to start the car, but it wouldn't budge. To make matters worse, we heard something banging on the back of the car. It wasn't constant sound, but every few seconds we hear it, like an ominous drum beat in the night. We looked around, but there was no one in sight, at least not that we could see in the darkness. Our phones were our lifelines, but none of us had any cell service. So there we were, trapped in a graveyard with something banging on our car and no way to call for help. The next half hour felt like an eternity. We desperately tried to get the car started, while this heavy, oppressive pressure seemed to engulf us. It was as if an unseen force was closing on us, making it hard to breathe. Finally, after what felt like eternity, the car roared to life. My friend hit the gas pedal with all her might, and we sped out of that graveyard like bats out of a hell. The moment we crossed the gates, our phones miraculously regained their cell service. To this day, we have no explanation for what we encountered in that graveyard. It was not an animal, and it certainly was not a human. It was something beyond our comprehension, something unworldly. So, what are your thoughts, folks? Have you ever had a supernatural encounter that defied all logic? Share your stories and thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this tale as tickling as we did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe out there. Goodbye. Hi there, wonderful people. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all doing great. Today, I've got a story that's going to send shivers down your spine. So buckle up because it's going to be quite the ride. Picture this. I was just 16 years old and my sister was 20. My mom, my sister and I were embarking on an epic cross-country road trip. We were cruising along an interstate, well rested and alert, when things took an early turn. It was late at night, and we found ourselves in need of gas and a bathroom break. The problem? The only rest stop in the next 200 miles was our only option. As we pulled into the rest stop, we couldn't help but feel that something was off. We had visited many rest stops during our days on the road, but this one gave us an inexplicable sense of dread. My mom and sister decided to head inside for a quick restroom break, while I stayed in the car, keeping an eye on our surroundings. This is where it gets really strange. At the gas station, there was a van full of teenagers on a road trip. And right in front of us, there was a small grey car with two young men standing perfectly still outside of it. Not talking, not on their phone, just standing there as if frozen in time. Meanwhile, I overheard the teenager mentioning that they were feeling creeped out and couldn't get the gas pump to work. They hurriedly left the scene. But what unnerved us the most were the two men by the grey car. My sister and mom rushed back to the car, and when they got in, those two men slowly turned to look at us without moving their bodies. It was as if they were pivoting their head only. And what we saw in those moments still haunts us to this day. Those men, they had eyes that were dark as pitch and empty. I mean, truly empty, not reflecting any light at all, just an endless void. We all saw the same thing, and it sent chills down our spines. Without wasting any second, we hit the gas and sped out of there, not stopping until we reached the safety of the next city. The whole experience was beyond unsettling. But here is the kicker. We couldn't find that place on any map. We knew precisely where it should have been on the interstate, but it was nowhere to be found. On Google Maps, on any paper map. We even asked locals about the creepy gas station on that stretch of road, and all we got were confused looks. We've traveled the same interstate since, and there is no sign of that rest stop. So what do you think, folks? What did we stumble upon that night? An eerie, otherworldly encounter, a glimpse into the unknown? We never know. But one thing for sure, it's a story we never forget. If you ever experienced something inexplicable like this, or have any theories about what we encountered, please share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this story as chilling as we did, don't forget to hit that like button and share it with your friend. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe out there. Goodbye.